So, welcome to episode 34 of What Are You Drinking Now here at the office. We're running a little late on Twitch tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Not that anybody is following us on Twitch.
Life happens.
Yeah, it happens. So, tonight we have 2 new beers. We have new wine. We have my palate cleanser is an old beer. You
should probably
last of the bright white. From Bell's. I liked it. I drank a lot of it. Nick is pouring off his. It looks like he wants to rush into it first.
I'm keeping us going.
What
do I got for palate cleanser?
Yeah, what do you got for palate cleanser there?
Rob, let me tell you, I'm drinking off the tap tonight. We got one of our favorite selections in, and glad to have it back. The Coastal Love from Wicked Weed. This is the 2020 updated.
Was that a collaboration?
It is a collab brew with Broomtail, is that correct? In our local... I believe that was how that one worked.
Not sure.
I know like proceeds are going to beach restoration after fill in the blank hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Southeast Hurricane. I don't even think they specified. They just realized the need was so big after one storm. We got 2 storms that season alone, so Southeast storm recoveries.
If we just got rid of the first 2 rows of beachfront housing, it wouldn't be a problem.
And you got some of the last bit of our ace going on.
So I'll take a quick sip and just let people know.
A little bit of the Ace Joker. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, so...
Coastal Love, glad you're back. Nice, light, smooth, hazy style IPA. It's really friendly.
And then for those that don't know, the Ace Cider... the local distributor lost its rights to sell it, so we won't have Ace Cider in the area anymore unless another distributor picks them up. So we'll find out.
Are we ever going to see a not hazy IPA ever again?
No, because that's all they're making now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, we do have a West Coast IPA. We have 2 of them in the shop now.
Yeah, I'm taking one home tonight. I probably should have tasted on the show tonight.
And I think we got one we're tasting tonight.
Yeah, I didn't want to put them head to head.
So, hazy IPA, Sycamore, we've done Sycamore like 3 weeks in a row, haven't we?
What's this one called?
Yeah, we've been showing Sycamore some love. This is one of these Charlotte breweries, Sycamore Brewery. This is an India Pale Ale. It's called Sticky Crystals. Pink cans. Just kind of got this geometric...
I don't get the reference.
Sticky Crystals. I think...
Well... Let's not even go there. We all know where it's coming from.
Said that smell. I think they're trying to tell us it's got a very dank smell.
Yeah, we all know where it's coming from. They must be neighbors with Wicked Weed or something.
And arguably it's in there, that dankness. It's beyond just citrus and beyond just leafy and piney.
I get a lot of orange juice, a little bit of grapefruit juice.
Oh, for sure there's some juicy, but there's something on the nose that
it tastes like orange juice.
A little more dank.
Yeah, this is tastes like orange juice, with hops in it.
I don't know how I like hoppy orange juice.
Yeah, I seem a little underwhelmed. That's just because everything's hazy lately.
I'm getting burned out on it, man.
I mean, it's the same thing with me and buttered Chardonnays in the early 2000s. I mean, every Chardonnay had big butter.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Coastal and the Sycamore right next to each other here, so just going to run it side by side.
I mean, as a hazy goes, this is a good beer.
It's good.
What's the ABV on this guy?
I mean, guys, if I didn't know any better, I think this beer's built to be like this beer.
7.0%.
So it's a little higher alcohol.
4%. I like that. 7.04.
Coastal Love was like 7.04.
Yeah.
That's pointless.
Yes,
I gotta say, I feel like I've had this beer at least 15 times already.
I mean,
yet this is the first time I've had this label. I'm feeling this too.
Like I said, it's a good hazy IPA. It doesn't stand out for me.
So with any hackneyed joke, there's a reason why people are telling it, because they're still getting laughs. It might be the oldest dad joke in the world, but it still gets laughs.
That's true.
And so I think this is what we're seeing with the hazy IPAs is some of us beer drinkers, some of us classic IPA drinkers, we're kind of like, we saw this as a phase, we'd like to get back to clarified beer. But this hit big, and it brought a lot of people into the beer market, and so basically the laughs are still there.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one bit. I mean,
the only issue I got with it is that to me they just don't taste like a true IPA.
I'd say put it head to head with Coastal. I'm feeling more flavor out of Coastal. I get a little more stickiness, like brininess on the palate from the oat flake or whatever we got going on to help the haze. This is just like somebody put milk in my orange juice, got a shot of alcohol and hops in it, like you guys said.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I don't. Sticky Crystal sounds like it should be really dank. I get a little dankness on the nose, but the more and more I'm getting into that.
I almost wanted more kitsch from the beer. You know, like if you're gonna call it Sticky Crystal.
yeah,
I just wanted
something that sets it apart.
Yeah, this is not unique. Some of these other Sycamores have been a little more unique, like Mountain Candy even had a uniqueness. So what's the
label
difference?
the label is dope though.
So Sycamore's got strong label power right now. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, they're definitely following up on the whole Christmas thing. They're taking that popularity and running with those labels, keeping not unique, but
This makes me want to go home and watch
Good.
The Cube.
good labeling going on.
Hey, the marketing person either deserves a raise or earn the one they just got.
Yeah, I mean, to your art department, cheers.
I'm gonna say that I was really expecting more. However, I do have to also consider the fact that we did go into this looking at it going, ooh, another hazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of let ourselves down.
What do you
from
guys
the
think
beginning.
about the haze in this, the milkiness of it?
But with the sticky, I didn't know it was gonna be hazy. It doesn't tell you on the
No,
can
it
it's gonna be
doesn't.
hazy.
It says India Pale Ale.
I thought it was gonna be like an IPA, so I was kind of, I guess like I'm falling victim to the fact I was expecting.
I probably thought I was going to see something more like the G13, something out of that.
Yeah,
Sweetwater
Lieutenant
420 series, Lieutenant Dank, something like that. Yeah, I definitely thought that's what I was going to see there.
It
No, we
doesn't
just
say
got
anything-
another juicy hazy
Doesn't
IPA.
say anything about hazy.
Does it?
Anywhere on the
It
can?
doesn't.
So that's kind of a. Yeah, I mean,
That kind of drags me down
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah.
You know, bums me out, bro.
I kind of think that when it was poured, that kind of made us go, ooh, yay, another hazy. So it automatically pulled us down on that. Taste profile, it's your classic citrus, grapefruit and orange juice, hazy, you know.
I can give you my rating right now on this one.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
I'm just not feeling hops in this at all, really.
I really hate bumming out on Sycamore because I do like their brewery. a
They
lot.
do some really good beer. Beach Shack Blonde.
But hey, they can't all be hits. Yeah, I had Beach Shack Blonde earlier. They can't all be hits. This probably actually because of the hazy craze will be a hit. But for us, it's just I think sitting kind of flat.
Yeah,
Are we ready to move on? There?
Nothing overwhelming. That's what I'm going to say. Nothing great, but overwhelming.
So to redeem us from a,
Well, let's not. I mean,
well, not redeem, but to take it in a different direction, an IPA that's not hazy.
yeah, this is the West Coast,
Tastes like a West Coast IPA.
which I find funny because it's New Orleans.
What is? Rogue?
No,
No.
Rogue is Portland, bro.
Oh,
That's why it's Newport.
see, and here I thought we're
It's
talking.
Newport, like Astoria.
So this
like,
is not the same.
It's West Coast Newport. It's not East. It's
What?
not Newport, Rhode Island.
Wasn't there a Rogue brewery down in New
No.
Orleans? What am I?
Are you thinking?
Rogue does a collaboration with Voodoo Donut, which is like a donut
What
shop
was
in Portland that
Dixie
does-
Lager?
I've been there. It's next
Dixie
to a bike
Lager.
messenger
Dixie
shop.
Lager's New Orleans.
But brewed in Monroe, Wisconsin.
But wasn't that Rogue?
No.
Dixie was a mass-produced beer.
I know, but I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure.
off.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Pabst brought the label for Dixie and
And
the
I'm
brewery
talking. I'm
rights,
talking way before they got
And-
bought by mass production.
and they.
Oh no, Dixie existed back in like the
Who
1800s.
did Black Voodoo Lager?
Dixie, but that Voodoo Donut is a collaboration with the donut shop in Portland.
Yeah.
And Rogue Black and Voodoo is the Dixie Black Lager
Yeah.
by the Dixie Brewery out of Nolan's, which has been there since 1800s.
Rogue
and then
is
the
Dead
Bourbon
Guy.
Bourbons.
See, okay, that's where I was getting confused.
Beer.
I was doing Dead Guy and Black Voodoo. I was mixing them up.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'm glad you brought up Dead Guy because that's
it's
where I
easy.
was
It's
thinking.
easy to get it mixed up.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it is.
Rogue's a
Rogue
beer.
Brewing out of Portland, Oregon. It is Portland, right? I think it is. Close enough. Newport Nights, West Coast IPA brewed with El Dorado hops. Number one thing, it's not hazy.
Well, so here's the thing: it's cloudy.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be getting some glass cloud.
I'm just saying if I can see.
But it's definitely not like I can see through this one.
If
Yeah,
I can
I
see
see
it,
a little colloidal in it, but
at this point in time, I'm just excited to see the light bulb through the beer.
yeah, I really wonder how much of a toll all this cloudiness is actually taking on my gut. I heard people talk about they're easier on the gut. I'm just not buying it. Malolactic and all this and really juicy high acid. Like
I love it
not
because
really
they
on the
don't
gut.
tell you. It doesn't say imperial or double IPA on this, but one crucial thing to remember about this beer, it's 9.8% by volume, which
Rogue is classically like higher.
I forgot about that when I picked this beer. Leave it to me to pick the high
Yeah,
class.
leave it to you. So where does that put us on the Imperial Dippa scale?
Is this where I tell the
There's
local authorities I have a
technically-
ride home and I took my bike to work?
Double and Imperial IPA are the same thing for the most part. A triple IPA is not actually a thing. Everything above a certain level
We'll just call it
is
Imperial.
considered Imperial.
So we don't have quad IPA.
And you can call it a quad IPA. I mean, that's just you put 4 times as much stuff in for the mash.
Sure, we call it
Fermented
quadruple.
out.
You know, it's a Belgian
Yeah,
strong.
but there's no
quadruple.
like clearly defined quad IPA. This is an Imperial IPA, but not always because you can call it a regular IPA. American brewing terms and styles don't always hold up to what the BJCP or the Beer Judge Certification Program says.
Kind of like we're looking at American wines versus
Yeah.
European wine type stuff.
We're a lot more laid back with our labeling than other countries
I
are.
would say sometimes I've found that when they have higher percentage and they label the beer just as India Pale Ale, that means it's got the hops to match. When they say Dippa, you're going to get a maltier flavor.
That I've been craving that and wanting that. I've had this beer before tonight, just as a caveat, you know, like extra.
Oh,
But
there's something rich on the nose that's just really fun.
God, it's nice to get back to just a standard IPA taste and profile.
So there's a key feature on that can. Not just the labeling, but it's got a taste star on it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, so it's got a 5-part taste star, which I can hold up to the camera here in a bit. Most of the points are in citrus, pine, a little bit in tropical. Malt is toned down, and bitter is about halfway. They said pair it with oyster shooters.
That's what you do at Newport. It's down by Reedsport.
So they're telling me to chase my oyster shooter with this beer. Honestly, I've seen that. I can see that.
I can see that.
Pair it with karaoke.
Well.
Enough of these, and I absolutely will sing "Tainted Love." And then questionable dance moves, which will probably accompany me singing "Tainted Love." If you don't show them the spot.
I will, because I think what they're trying to do, besides just show you the taste profile, I think what they're telling us is where these juicies are only like hitting 2 or 3 points on the star, this thing's working around the star and basically is hitting 4 out of 5 points on the star, backing down on the malts. So what did I say about a beer that's labeled IPA versus double IPA, even though it's higher percentage, is you're going to have the hops to balance the malt. You're not going to get an overly malty, whereas Dippa is going to be heavy malt.
I'll tell you that I can taste the El Dorado hops.
Is that what's giving it the citrus?
That's what's giving it like
Or the
the
pine.
spice, the mango,
Yeah.
the
Oh, the tropical,
all of
okay.
it.
Yeah, it's giving that
El
tropical
Dorado,
floral.
you get spice and fruit, which is really cool. It's
Yeah.
a really cool hop because you get like 2 flavors you would not normally
You
get.
get the
from
smell
one
of
hop.
like tropical blossoms. You get those softer tropical fruits, not just your citrus tones.
El Dorado is a really cool hop to work with.
I like this one because it's got some bitter to it too. It's not overwhelming bitter though, but it's there.
The balance is nice on this. Also,
I'm really appreciating that.
I have to say, booze is controlled well here. You can definitely tell when you're drinking this that it is a boozier beer, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
So that's what hops are good at. They meld well with those booze tones. So we send acids at the base tones of the alcohol, and it meets it in the middle. Kind of gives us that more neutral flavor zone palate rather than just being boozy or purely acidic.
I just enjoy anything that has a higher alcohol content to have that.
Of course you do. Your liver hates you.
Well, to have that higher complexity of flavor to remind me not to just quaff it.
There's a lot to be said about.
Quaff.
Yeah.
There's a lot
I
to be
don't need
said
to
about.
quaff my beer like I quaff my hair. By the way, that was probably a little sweaty when you did that, wasn't it?
It was actually. So Nick, you were saying?
I don't know, something about the quantity of beers
I was getting jealous.
gets lost once you just get refreshing cold brews. It's just like, oh, okay, this is refreshing. But what Josh is talking about is instead of going, what 6 beers am I going to drink? Let's just ask, what beer am I going to have right now? And that's what this show is about.
Yeah.
What are you drinking now? And this is a great example of that. Is whether this is part of your 6 or this is just the one you grab for after work, you're going to be pleased with this taste because of the full balance.
Oh, absolutely.
Pardon me, I got to sneeze.
Yeah, let it rip.
Maybe not. Okay, so here's the thing. You know what Nick was saying. This could easily be part of my 6-pack. Maybe 1, possibly 2. I'm not, but the reason I'm going to say no more than that is because I'm not going to hit myself with that alcohol content. Because I know
Not if you're drinking 6. No,
yeah,
if you're
I know
popping
that's going to hurt me.
2, yeah.
So, you know, I'm probably going to stick to having one of these in my 6-pack and moving on from there. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it while I'm drinking it, though.
If I was going to a gathering with friends, I would put this in my 6-pack.
And not tell anybody you had it.
Nope, it'd be the first one I
Yeah,
grabbed.
yeah.
I would always be like, no, that one's off limits.
Somebody comes up, they're like, oh, do you got more of those? Oh, I think, just take a look, have whichever one you want. You're like, God, the other one's in my coat pocket.
Yeah, so I mean, good little beer for the fire.
I'm liking the clear. I honestly feel like there's a reason why we filter beer. Actually, making beer is a method of filtering water.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you filter your beer?
But
It's just a question I have in general.
Then you get into the deeper technical things. You remember filtering back at the winery with me with the DE pads, which, by the way, DE stands for diatomaceous earth.
Oh yeah, we would push it through those plates.
Google it. I'm not explaining it.
We would have like 20 plates lined up in
Yeah.
this contraption, and we'd shoot the wine in one side,
That's why.
and it would take 20 minutes and finally come out the other side, and hopefully not the floor.
That shit is, forgive me, is why people don't filter beer, because that's a pain.
Well, you know, one of the major producers found a way around it. Why don't we just freeze all the colloids to frozen coils and let the alcohol, the booze, and the beer pass over?
You can cold crash it, but you can only get it so clear with that. When you do the filtration with the filtration process like that, it's all drawn up. But like, does anybody actually want to do what we did with pads? No.
Next thing you know, you're dumping 96,000 gallons of wine into the Russian River and calling it a deal. By the way, if you guys don't know, the largest wine spill in the history of this country happened this past week.
Yeah,
what happened?
Ashley sent me a link on that. My response was, oh no.
What? Where'd that go to?
Yeah, the winemaker basically has said, we don't believe it's human error. The gate on the blending unit apparently malfunctioned or was open or somehow. And basically when they went to blend several brutes in their large blender, they lost their entire load.
And went into the Russian River.
And it went out the back of the shop into the creek and flowed into the Russian River. EPA's doing investigations to see if they're in compliance.
Some drunk fish.
Yeah. I want to go
there. That smells.
I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go fish for catfish in that river right now, and see what they taste like. Chardonnay.
I don't know. I feel like, you know, in our discussions of filtering wine, there was definitely some times the winemaker said, "Don't follow me around back. I gotta take care of something."
Oh yeah. No, it basically, if you don't want to Google what diatomaceous earth is,
I thought you were gonna explain it.
I'm
We're
not
gonna explain it.
I'm just thinking
I'm not. You see, thank you for catching me on that one.
It's activated carbon.
Let's make them do some research.
Google
Learning
it.
is fun.
Google it.
By the way, diatoms are not good in your estuarine brackish seawater.
It's actually poisonous to you.
Okay. So moving right along.
And it kills shellfish.
Moving right along. Some of us like our killed shellfish.
Even though it's
They're
made of
tasty on
shellfish?
They're tasty on the
Go
plate.
ahead, drink some red wine, punch a fish.
They're tasty on the plate. I like me some oysters. Okay, so tonight we are drinking the Pierre, all the way from France, Cab Franc. It's a Languedoc winery. This is Pierre, believe it or not, one of the older wineries in the French country. They do stuff all up and down. We've had Pierre, I think, on this show before.
Did we do the Chardonnay?
I know we run a Chardonnay by the glass, or we have had in the past at the shop.
Did we do a blend or something by them, or like one of the bites?
We have a Chardonnay, we have a Sauvignon Blanc, and we have a Cab Franc.
I think we might have done Sauv Blanc.
Might very well might have. So this is French Cab Franc. Cab Franc being the varietal, not to be confused with Cabernet Sauvignon, and it is its own grape. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of blending on this. However, it does not give a mixture of what the blend is. But it should be at least 85% Cab Franc.
It does have some gorgeous legs.
So, you okay over there, Nick?
Yeah.
Nick's got to excuse himself. So, while Nick is taking care of that, we'll go ahead and talk about the Cab Franc. Great nose on this thing. Big and fruity.
Oh, absolutely, man.
There is a little bit of alcohol. It does come across just slightly hot.
Yeah, a little bit of heat right there. Not a lot. Like, kind of like an amber going out. Not so much like flame, but it give it a like dark cherry. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got the dark fruit smell. I get dark cherries, plum, blackberries.
yeah, some nectarine in there too, almost.
Really?
Like a darker skin nectarine though, because like nectarines have that like range of shade of the skin, you know.
I'm not so sure. I picked that up, but I'm not saying that you can't. But no, I think nice little nose, very classic Cab Franc nose, very juicy. It's leading me to believe that my first taste is going to be this big, juicy bomb.
Super red, fuzzy peach.
Okay.
Super red. I'm talking like super ripe peach.
So, here's the other classic Cab Franc thing. This is a teeth liquor. This is a dryer. Big fruit up front, but the tannins come in hard on the back end.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, you definitely are a Cab Franc fan anyway.
Yeah.
But this is really good. I'm gonna say buy it now. One price point $18. Cab Franc is, especially Cab Franc, especially European Cab Franc, for the last couple years has been going up steadily in price. With the uncertainty of tariffs going towards the EU in the next few months, we're not sure what it's going to do to pricing on the wine. So I would say if you're a European wine fan, you want to start buying up now. What I'm gonna
That is.
I'm gonna say about this wine too. I'm getting the fruit I expected. Juiciness.
I'm getting a lot of leather.
On the second taste though, so I do have a little disappointment there because on the second taste, the fruit kind of faded out.
It did.
Kind of like got a little watery. I mean, the fruit was still there, but it just wasn't as prominent as the first taste. Maybe the tannins have taken over because those are big tannins from the middle palate back.
I think that's probably the culprit right there. Because I mean, like, my mouth is just reeking of tannic impact right now, which I love. But when you have that kind of, because it's like suede in my mouth right now.
Yeah,
you know? It's like the rough side of a leather belt.
Yeah, and I think you said that the first taste you were getting. Didn't you say?
I picked up leather as soon as I tasted. As soon as I got the tannins, like it basically felt like the non-polished side of a leather belt. You know, the suede side.
Yeah.
Which I love it. I love that kind of texture and feel, but I think that always kind of detracts from the more subtle nuances of the fruit.
Okay, as I let that sit for a while and let the tannins go out, I definitely think it was the tannins. That last taste, more fruit was back.
Oh yeah.
So this is definitely a sipping wine, not a chugging wine. Or this is definitely a meal wine.
Yeah, I would. This is one of those ones I would definitely recommend with food.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Would I drink it without food? Absolutely. But would I drink most wines without food?
Yeah.
If I had a bottle of wine, absolutely. Yeah. But most people I know would enjoy this more with food.
So
cut the tannins.
Here's what I'm thinking while I'm drinking. Duck à l'orange.
Absolutely. You get that little bit of sweetness.
With sweetness, the fat from the
fat,
duck.
The fat's really what you want. That like, ooh, like the what is fat in French?
Les fat.
Les fat du canard. Because canard is French for duck. I do know what duck is in French.
Nick has returned. I'm hoping he's feeling
Dinar?
better.
Oh, what's fat in French?
Fee.
Fee?
Confit.
Confit.
Fee du canard. So
Duck confit.
Duck confit.
Numb nut.
Oh.
Duck
shit.
and its fat. Lesson 1. Didn't we cover this in like episode 2?
Well, we needed our translator.
Well, you guys are along with Doc,
this
so
would be a
things do
good
differ
time.
a little bit.
This would be a good time for a wiffle ball bat and just to hit me with it.
Yeah, and I could definitely break a bat over your head.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Drop the kids off, just eradicated a family of hot snakes from the back porch.
We don't need that type of. I just saw you kind of blanch a little. I knew you were getting sick or something. So
less metaphors and more drinking.
Yeah.
So what we talked about was
this is not metaphor.
Big fruit on the nose.
Yeah, let me get my nose around this thing because there's a lot going on.
There was some heat there because there's a little alcohol coming through also.
Yeah, but there's some great
$14,
subtle like
so that's
cranberry reaching through the nose like hot cranberry sauce coming right up on the nose.
That's the fruit I didn't pick.
And then there's like even some spice, which is probably why I went with the cranberry because I'm even getting like little cinnamon nutmeg tones.
A little bit of lingonberry.
So I'm betting there's a little bit of toasted barrel going on here.
So we were talking dark fruit on our nose.
The smoothness of this is just.
Wait till that tan hits you. Bam! Right now.
Whoa! There's like pepper, like hot sauce, peppery. Like it hit my lips. Like after I swallowed, that was great.
So one of the complaints I had was first taste, a lot of fruit front, tannins mid palate back. Second taste, I didn't let the tannins get out, and the wine became a little watery.
Oh, okay, so
this is a sipping wine for me.
This is where I just screwed up because I didn't go in like a newbie. As I took my second sip, I'm breathing out my nose, like, because that's what the first sip told me to do, and that's basically your retronasal, and that's how you're going to get an authentic taste.
Oh yeah.
Josh and I were talking about this the other day, how much our smell relates to our taste,
Oh, definitely.
and that there's this third region that sort of does both.
And the concept of retronasal breathing, which also Google that.
So you have like these smelling taste bud type things in your retronasal cavity, which is basically where your nose connects down and right near that epiglottal
Well,
kind
it's
of
the
thing.
whole assembly of
Yeah.
the olfactory.
All your
glands.
receptors on the top of your mouth.
Yeah, so all that sensory isn't really happening in the front of your nose, and while you have taste sensory up here, all that's getting collected in the back of this area and then being sent that message up.
I mean,
Your olfactory works faster than your physical, like taste, and so smell will overcome taste every time. So unless you clear that passage,
people say smell is 80% of your taste. That is absolute BS. But smell is at least half of your taste.
I'm
It's
sticking with
not
that
80,
cranberry.
it's not 80%, but
I really felt that again.
So I think you might
Not the tartness.
you might
of it,
like
but the whole-
my pairing, my food pairing, duck à l'orange.
Oh,
Little sweetness, the fat from the duck.
that's proof that the French went to
you
China.
know what would be nice with this?
Peking duck, anybody?
Hey, Peking duck. Oh God, that would be good.
I mean, he's one step away. He's talking about putting kung pao chicken and Peking
We
duck
just
together.
we need some
And it's
ducks.
duck orange.
We need some ducks, and we're gonna eat some duck.
I guess-
I know at one time we talked about having duck confit duck or something like that.
I have a great recipe for duck confit.
I don't believe you. I haven't seen an ingredient
This
list.
is a good, like,
I was gonna have it ready tonight.
I think what's fun about
I was
Carcassonne,
gonna have it ready tonight.
So yes,
and that's what
this is
Pierre is
Carcassonne.
from, is you talked about
Which is,
Lamada.
which is a World Heritage Site.
Yeah, so the reason it's a World Heritage Site is because of wine. The Romans,
So
and
how
even
about
potentially
explain that
in
real quick, Nick?
pre-Roman times.
How about
Yeah,
explain
this
World
is-
Heritage Site real quick?
Tell me.
Are you okay with one?
Yeah, we'll try a little more. I can try to explain it, but I could more or less talk about this site.
Okay.
Carcassonne is an ancient site. It was a site of ancient ritual even before the time of Romans. It's possible they were even doing wine production in this area before the Romans. But the grapes that we're enjoying right now are Cabernet Franc. Those are likely some of the original grapes that the Romans took into the area to establish and test out wine.
Cab Franc, by the way, is one of the original noble grapes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the great granddaddy of like Cab Sauv, isn't it?
That could possibly be true.
How does this go? The Romans didn't make great wine. They made great vineyards.
Do a little bit of
I-
research on that, but I think you could be
I,
right.
I wouldn't like go 100%. I wouldn't go all in on that bet, but I would go. I would still.
I think it's a good
bet on
research
that.
point. It's a good query.
But I feel like I
Hypothesis.
remember it being one of the older grapes. Like it was kind of one of the ones that led. People had Cab Franc and refined it to Cab Sauv.
Technically, Cab Sauv is the world's oldest hybrid grape.
By the way, all of your favorite wines are GMOs.
Yes, they have been genetically modified.
Yeah, human genetic selection counts as genetic modification.
We are all GMOs.
Well, considering they would, whenever they, and that's one thing that I understand the big kick against GMOs right now. I do. I completely understand it. But like Josh said, when you take a clipping from one plant stock and you splice it into a clipping from another plant stock, you just did a genetically modified organism.
Also,
The second you chose which one to clip from, that was your modification. You went after desired characteristics. You didn't allow nature to choose its course.
That's true. And
select the strongest species.
so it
You
can't,
chose one based on certain characteristics.
well, and history has shown that it can be done. It
Yeah.
has been done for thousands of years. I understand what the big push right now is this.
Well, you
big,
didn't choose to put frog DNA in your
Yeah,
grape
exactly.
so that it could be resistant
Exactly.
to
There's exactly. There are so many other reasons for the modern
Name drop.
GMOs versus versus what people have been doing for thousands of years.
So yeah, there might be a level of difference between selection and hybridization and such versus genetic splicing. Yeah, there's levels of genetic modification.
I mean, GMOs are what saved grapes in Europe.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Flagella virus was done.
I keep thinking there's some Lord Save-All, and then I realize that the Save-All is actually just a pun, and it means save all wine.
It gets to the point where your body will know and tell you when you're doing something wrong. 90% of problems are when you ignore it.
Yeah, I'm a little suspicious about that chicken earlier.
Yeah.
I think it was that graham cracker you ate.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wassa. That's a rye bread cracker.
There you go. It's even worse than I thought.
I truly enjoy this wine, but you guys know how much I love Cab Franc. This is one of my favorite grapes.
So there's several reasons to enjoy this wine. There's the history. We didn't totally get into it, but basically, this is one of these sites that back in old times, remember this thing, Caesar, all Gaul's 3 parts. Well, what he really meant is there's 3 ways to grow wine in Gaul, and this was one of the ways.
Hey, whatever.
This is southern France. And when we talk about Languedoc is mostly western and southern France. It does have some shore on the Mediterranean. That's when you get down to the nitty-gritty of Nantes and things like that. Old places like Lyon, over to Gascony, these were places of Languedoc. And Languedoc's purpose, honestly, was to grow and produce wine and serve it out to the world and have a functioning navy and exhort its political power through the use of wine. And they were largely connected with the church. And who uses wine during every one of the rituals? The church. Well, damn it, they want good wine.
Yeah.
So this has been a long protected area of growing, and there's a reason why. Just taste this. This may not be your favorite wine, but there is very little to complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a reference letter to Alex Jones.
And here's the thing. This is I say this cautiously. This is a lower end Cab Franc.
Yeah, even lo-fi costs a little more than this, and that's our nice California simple.
Well, we have Franc, which is really nice.
Yeah, the Franc
is good.
So, but I mean, this is, I would say, entry level Cab Franc.
Definitely for
It's
sure.
$18 a bottle. Okay, so here's one thing. I touched on this a minute ago, and I want to go back to it real quick. Buy this now. Buy European wines now.
This is brought, to use the phrase, this is drinking well right now.
Yeah. Well, beyond drinking well, buy European wines now. Beyond political statement, Nick and I, we don't always agree. Josh and I, we don't always agree. Beyond political statement,
we can all agree on this.
There are tariffs coming across.
Despite what you think about it, it is happening.
And
a week.
whether you think they're good or bad, that's all well and good. But what's going to happen is your European wines are going to get hit hard, which means price spikes are coming on European wines, which could cause you to see less European wines in certain shops.
Or might cause people to favor Spanish over French because of that $5 difference or something.
Well,
like that.
you got to remember, Spain is still part of the EU.
Yes, but when
so it's EU wide.
I got you.
So you're effectively looking at exotic wines doubling.
You're effectively looking at your old world wines doubling. You're looking at other places being explored. Australia, New Zealand, South America, South Africa. You're going to see more of those wines in your local wine shops until the tariffs get resolved. And whether you like it or not, that's kind of what the tariffs are for, is to put pressure on the EU to fix their issues. That
we're not putting any politics in it.
That the U.S. government thinks that there's problems with. Whether there are problems or not, that's why the tariffs are there, to put pressure on their big product, their big export.
Oh, yeah.
So buy your European wines now.
Yeah, build up your
buy your
cellar
Scotch now. Seriously, buy your
Scotch is
now.
another one, yes.
Scotch is good.
Please buy the wine first.
If you like Scotch, you're already paying a pretty penny. It's only going to get prettier and shinier.
Will the tariffs last forever? I don't foresee it happening. I think things will generally balance out down the road, maybe 5-6 months, but it's going to get steep for the next few months.
I don't think France wants to lose their foothold as the region of wine.
I agree with you, and that's why I don't think they'll last. That's why I don't think
France will put harder pressure than any of them.
In the meantime, buy American.
Well, and that's the thing. We have damn fine wines in the U.S.
It's going to happen at a good time too.
There are damn fine wines. It's
even last year's wines are now coming out, starting to come out the barrel.
America is one of the few places where in a gas station you can find a wine of all the same colors as the flag: red, white, and blue.
But beyond that, we have some damn fine American wines. We have some damn fine access to South American wines. We have some damn fine access to
Mogan and David. Mad Dog, right? Mogan and David, right?
We have some damn fine access to South American wines. Chile and Argentina are putting out some great stuff. South African wines. There's a little political issue there too. Not so much anymore as it was way back in the 70s, 80s. But we still have
who makes good wine that I would love to get my lips on?
New Zealand's are coming.
That I just have it and it blows me away because it's one of our neighbors. Where are
Canada's got some good ones.
Well, that was written in the article. Check out Wine Spectator on this stuff. They got great article to understand
some of the whites, Rieslings and stuff coming out.
Why? And I'm just going to put this out here on the podcast. And I asked this question once before, and I want feedback. Do you guys drink Mexican wine, and why not?
Because it's not heavily imported to the U.S.
No,
and the answer is no, and it's not heavily imported to the U.S. And here's one thing to think about that. Domestically, there are some really good wines coming in from New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. I didn't believe it when I first saw it in the early 2000s, but there are wineries. There are actually French wineries that have opened up wineries in these states, and they are getting into the mountainous regions in those states and producing some decent wines. Same thing can be done in Mexico.
Nuevo Laredo is like
with the new USMCA.
Yeah,
is that what
are
it's
we
called?
going to begin to see them?
Maybe we will see some.
With the tariffs happening.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Maybe we will see some.
Maynard,
but it's really gonna depend on
he's
the.
out there in like Arizona, New Mexico area, and he's got like a whole town he's got for it's called Dacious Vineyards, man. He puts out some.
Who's that?
Maynard James Keenan from Tool, lead singer of Tool.
Oh, okay.
Man, he's got the vineyard out there. He puts out some top quality.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna need to happen is some of these distributors are gonna have to take the chance on these Mexican wines, like they took the chance on the Argentinian and the Chilean. They're going to have to take the chance on them, and then they're going to have to push them on the wine shops.
Without hurting California.
But the wine's out there. That's what I'm saying. But if you are a European wine fan, buy now. Next 6 to 8 months is going to be touch and go as far as pricing and availability. All I got to say, not political, just saying facts of what we're looking at come forward. So we are running along. We kind of.
I blame me.
Dodged a little, trying to get Nick back into it. We weren't. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying.
I blame me.
I blame the rogue beer.
So let's go back. Review Sycamore.
I hate to say it, Sycamore. This one was predictable. It's decent beer. It's definitely worth a drink. Ours is priced at $4 in here, so you're definitely coming under a pint price and a pint can. So it's a nice in-house beer. I think probably the one thing that was missing with my palate on this was what was I eating it with. So as a beer standalone, it might get lost in my sixer, which I didn't feel with the other beer we tried tonight. Was it bad? Was there any serious complaints? No, it was a refreshing, nice taste, and so I'm kind of at that territory where I got to do my Caesar's 3/4 thumb.
That's 3/4. Okay. For me, I think we instantly hit the great, another hazy as soon as it's poured, and so we had a bias already. Sycamore is a good brewery, puts out good beers. We've had. I think this is the third week in a row, we've at least had them as a taster. We've at least had them as a taster or featured. I like Sycamore a whole lot, and I'm going to push them a whole lot. This one, I have to agree with Nick. I think it's just kind of going to get lost in the field of all the other hazy IPAs. They didn't put hazy on the can. I think that's what shocked us when it started pouring. I'm going to go half a thumb on it. It's a good hazy IPA. I'm starting to get burned out on hazy IPAs. So, it is what it is. Nothing knocking it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I think it's gonna get lost in the forest.
It kind of reminds me of all the things I went through in college.
Do you remember?
I do, for the most part.
Wow.
But mainly, if this had been my first hazy IPA,
I thought he was going to say like eventful but non-memorable.
It probably would have been 2 thumbs up. But seeing as it's my, I don't even know the number hazy IPA, it gets a thumb up. It's a really good hazy IPA. Please put it on the can. So I know.
Yeah,
put hazy on the can. I can agree with that.
And it's a generous thumb because I want to give it the half thumb because it wasn't on the can.
Art department's doing great, but I feel like marketing.
Sycamore, you do a great job. It's a good beer. Please tell me it's hazy when I drink it.
We've been talking about this with labels. Consistency with labels is an important thing. I like pretty pictures, but I need to know what I'm gonna get, especially in a can. There's no way to see it. 2 most
important things on the label: what kind of beer it is, and how strong it is.
All right,
I don't need to know how much is in it.
So we got 1 thumb on the Sycamore, which is the highest of the 3 of us. So let's go ahead with
then you want to know.
Josh, Rogue Newport Nights.
Rogue Newport Nights, thumb and 3/4. I love it. The taste is great. The balance is great. It's nice to see an actual West Coast IPA. It doesn't get 2 thumbs because it calls itself just a straight IPA. It doesn't give you that warning on the front label that the ABV is a little bit higher. They should have said it was a double or something. This is a double IPA. This is not a single IPA. This is an Imperial IPA.
Okay, so I'm going to harken back to what Nick said because I tend to agree with him. When breweries put double IPA on there's more of a maltiness to it.
Yeah, the balance leans toward malty.
I think if they would have put Imperial, it would have been more truth in advertising. I did like it. I liked it a lot.
It's really good.
It's a West Coast IPA. We actually the funny thing was I think last week Nick said I wish we had more West Coast IPAs in, and 2 happened to show up on the
one label
the advertised
one
list, and so I picked both of them up this week. I like this guy, Rogue. I've had Rogue before. I can't believe that for whatever cross wires going on in my brain, I thought it was New Orleans with the other guys down there. This is Portland. Portland.
Yeah, we'll double check just so.
Anyway, just so whatever.
Well, it's brewed in Newport, so it's actually more of a coastal.
I crossed wires on a stretch earlier today. It shocked the hell out of us.
I'm pretty sure that's the Astoria Bridge or whatever.
So I'm going to give this a solid thumb up. Possibly venturing to a thumb and a quarter, but I'm going to stick with a thumb up. I think this is a solid West Coast IPA. Refreshing. This is one that I'm going to take out of my 6-pack first of the party, and I'm going to drink and let everybody else go through the 6-pack of it's not in there, because this is the one I'm having for myself. Nick?
I want more of this beer. I don't think I can handle another tonight. And so I do want to follow up on what these guys are saying. This is one of those beers I'll be happy to have one of. If I only have time to drink one beer, I'm going to be happy with this beer. Rogue's been a good standard in the microbrew world. If Sierra Nevada was the first, Rogue was the first best.
They were actually almost omnipresent for a long while, and then they dipped out.
Yeah, I think they had to realign.
They also have their own farms for malts and hops.
And I think they're under Oregon Tilth Organic, which is even tougher organic rules than California. Oregon Tilth is like the cornerstone of what is organic.
They're doing it right.
And I believe it is like where the workers are part owners and stuff like that, where they've all been earning. So that's really cool stuff. I don't know if there's been a marketing deal with them. That would be interesting to look up. But what I would say is, even if that has happened, they've maintained their label and their quality of their beer. So if you loved Rogue Dead Guy, check out what else Rogue is doing. You're going to love this. If you like IPAs, try your West Coast IPAs. Don't get stuck in hazy world. See where the hazies came from.
Rogue is probably.
I'm going to say that's a full thumbs up here for me. I'm almost glad it wasn't labeled Imperial. Imperial IPAs I'd like to see cresting the 9.5, 10 point zone.
Do you think they did it almost just to see if people wouldn't notice?
The first one of these I drank, I did not realize this was 9.8%. And
you just grab it because you see West Coast IPA.
I drank another West Coast Dippa, and then I drank this, and I thought this was going to be a lighter beer. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'm sitting back for a second. It was, they hit it, though. They really hit it. I had to double take, check the label, do all that,
Yeah. So solid thumb for you, which for Nick is a decent.
And here's the best part:
score.
price $4.50 for the Newport Nights, $4 for the Sycamore. So value bang for your buck, man. This guy is a real winner. Price doesn't put me off of this; just makes me think twice because it's on the shelf.
Ooh, that's a 6 out of 7 right there on a Burt scale.
So wine tonight was the Pierre Cab Franc from Languedoc in France. I think this, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is blended. I think it's 85% Cab Franc, and I'm not sure what else is going on there. Maybe I'm not even, maybe some Grenache. But
It should be typical of the area.
It'd give you that robust tannic.
Yeah. Nice big fruit on the nose. Some spice going on, like Nick said.
High drinkability, though. Yes.
First taste, big bold fruit. Tannins hit your mid-back palate. Definitely a food wine. I'm leaning towards, I still want Duck à l'Orange. Nick kind of whispered over to me while Josh was talking about his beer. It said lamb.
Yeah, I want like a lamb creme fraiche with herb. Yeah.
But I would go for like leg of lamb or something, like a little more fat around it.
Lollipops with.
Yeah, I was thinking the rack.
Yeah, with some.
Heavy parsley with some creme fraiche.
Yeah, something that's going to have a lot of fat there. And then.
Prime rib.
Yeah.
I think prime rib is just too overdone. I agree with you, but I think it's just too overdone. And don't get me wrong, I love prime rib.
Well, everyone says prime rib's overdone. I haven't had prime rib in years because you can't find it anywhere.
I'm telling you.
Talk.
K&W Cafeteria.
No. There's a great place in Southport. There's prime rib, excellent. Anyway, let's go. Oh, I didn't thumbs this one. I'm going to
talk about Wednesdays at the Moose.
I'm going to do a solid thumb on this guy. Entry level. Great fruit, great tannins, classic French. Solid thumb.
Solid thumb. It's a good Cab Franc. I've had better, but it's a good Cab Franc.
Yeah, I couldn't name the ones I've had better. I know that there are more complex Cab Francs, but I'm with Rob. I'm giving this a solid thumbs up because if you have a friend who wants to know why should I get French wine, this has everything about what French wine does that Cali wine doesn't quite do.
Good point. I classically say French wine is going to be drier. Cali wine is going to be more juicy. More
the bold, the astringent,
keeping the tannins away as long as possible.
Yeah.
French wine's like, this is the wine.
Yeah, they're not afraid of any part of it.
If you don't like the dry, go elsewhere.
But it's very balanced, and that's what I like about it. It's really drinkable. As Rob said, this would be great with food. We're gonna argue all night long about how we're gonna which type of fat what
That's true.
animal we're gonna cook in its own fat
Yeah.
to drink this wine. But that,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, the crazy thing though is like you think about North Carolina, like we got pig farmers and we got tobacco farmers over here. Over there in France,
Turkey farmers.
and turkey farmers. So like you see all those people, we kind of almost look down on them in like regular society. You go to France, it's like what we consider like the turkey farmers, the pig farmers, the tobacco farmers. That's the wine growers over in France. Like they're just everywhere.
yeah.
It's every single corner of the country.
I don't know, Josh. I think the days of looking down on the farmer, I think that's over.
Yeah.
I think that North Carolina's has turned, and
I don't
we
know.
respect our farmer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How we respect it is still something
Pig
we have to
Pig
learn.
farmers are making millions of bucks.
It is something we have to learn. as
down.
They do,
customers.
but it smells awful.
The more we love
Yeah.
them, the more they'll do it in the right
You
way.
know how they cover that smell up? They pull out their wallet and show you all the green. Alright? So anyway, that was episode 34 of What Are You Drinking Now here at the office.
Happy holidays, by the way. What? Tomorrow's a Tuesday.
So that's a head scratcher.
If your head itches, let it be known. So does mine.
That's a head scratcher. So, like us, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.